It is time for the Stugotz pregame show. I get a minute or so every day to talk about some things I want to talk about, get some things off my chest. Amin El-Hassan is hanging around. I love when you're hanging around. I try. What's going on with the fruit?
Just a little kind of pick me up in the morning.
A little melon, a little pineapple.
Something cold.
Is that cantaloupe? What is that?
I think it's I actually don't know melon.
Because I think melon is green, cantaloupe is orange.
I thought they're all melons.
Right.
One is a honeydew, one is a cantaloupe. I don't know which is which. I just eat it.
Right. You feeling a little bit better today?
I'm feeling better, but I feel bad because my bracket is busted.
All right, what happened? Well, I think a lot of people got their brackets busted last night. A lot of people took Tennessee. That was a very popular pick.
I had Tennessee in the championship games for God's sake. Here's the thing. They're down big to Purdue. They make this huge comeback in the second half, and I'm like, this is fate.
Right.
This is destiny.
Right.
This is how they pull it out.
Well, listen, you got what you loved out of the tournament last night because we all discovered Ryan Klein together, right, of Purdue. But that's not the way the game should end. That was not a foul. You don't call that did not affect the shot. Tennessee should have won the game.
I hate it.
Live from ESPN Studios in South Beach. It's the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
We've got in with us today what I think I could arguably call a movie star.
Very arguable.
He has been in movies. He has been a big star in movies. You might remember him as the Blue Raja in Mystery Men. I love Mystery Men. I will not have anyone mock Mystery Men. Who wrote that? Hank Azaria is with us.
Hello. I was excited that Ben Stiller was in studio, given your setup.
Listen,
that's the story of my life.
When there's a major movie star in studio, Dan, you don't need to announce who it is. I mean, people just know by the voice. If they're watching on TV, they know that there's an A-list movie star in our studios.
I don't know. Listen, I have a big ego, but I'm a movie actor. I am ensconced in Hollywood, the Hollywood canon, but I would not consider myself a movie star, as is evidenced by the disappointment that I am not Ben Stiller.
I'm trying to figure out what it is you just said.
Ensconced.
What? In where?
Embedded. Inside of.
You're in a cannon?
Stugotz will help Hank Azaria today in a number of different ways. Hank Azaria is doing highly questionable with us. You may also know him as a million of the voices on The Simpsons as well. He's going to do highly questionable with us. He just got out of the production call for highly questionable.
Is he not available or?
And he is available. Why did you do that to him? Why? Oh,
I mean, I just figured if Israel wasn't available, you'd go to me, but apparently not.
Dan throws me a bone once a year.
Right.
I mean,
same here. Yeah.
So he was on the production call, and he's a little nervous about the sports takey thing, like getting on television and having takes. I know all of us think we can do it, but here's a professional actor, excellent at acting, and is wondering how to do what Stugotz does so well. In fact, I saw Hank while he was on the production call. His eyebrows were singed because Stugotz was talking on Golic and Wingo, and it was just fire that was coming out of his face. Non-stop fire.
It was hard to concentrate on my own thing with Stugotz screaming in the background.
Hank, listen, it's really no different than acting. You just fake it, okay? That's it. That's the key to giving the hot take. You give hot takes about things you didn't even see. I will teach you here throughout the show how to get through the A block of HQ today, okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
Can I get the A block of HQ so I can see what we're talking about?
Stugotz, the challenge for you is to not give a hot, like to shut it off, right, in your life. Can you shut it off in civilian life? Can you just like have normal conversation?
You'll see during the breaks that he can't.
No, I cannot. I can't. Billy was just talking about pineapples and the dangers of peeling a pineapple, and I had to give a hot take there. I mean, so no. The answer to your question is no.
You're afraid of pineapples, Billy?
No. All right, so this is a thing that, yes, is the answer, but no. That's not why we were talking about pineapples. So this is what happened with pineapples. Maybe last week or the week before, there was like this viral thing that was saying, everybody eats pineapples wrong, everybody cuts pineapples wrong. And there was a video of like the top of the pineapple being cut off, and then pineapples have like their little prickly areas. I don't even know what they would be called.
Prickly areas worked.
Yeah, so each one of those prickly areas, if you were to watch this video, you would believe that you could just peel that off of the center of the pineapple once you've cut off the top, and it turns into like a bite-sized little piece of pineapple that you can chew. Now, this is done by someone that knows what they're doing. Of course, everybody on the internet's filled with idiots, thinks that they can do it, myself included. So you go and you get the pineapple, you cut off the top, and you're like, all right, perfect, this is just going to peel off, and I'm going to be eating them like M&Ms. Not the case. Then people are sticking their hands in the pineapple, trying to rip off these pieces. It's not working. They're cutting their hands. Their pineapple's all soggy. Their fingers are all sticky. And it's because it was like one specific type of pineapple, I think, that you could do that way. But of course, that wasn't in the video.
I kid you not that 45 seconds ago, our guest here, a big movie star in Hollywood, threw up his hands and just looked at you like, why is he still talking? I'm not kidding. He couldn't even conceal it.
Honestly, those are seconds of my life I will never get back. Your audience will never get that
Minutes.
back. Watching the video would have been really boring. Hearing the video described is just impossibly boring. What were you even talking about? Who cares? My God, man. Get a hold of yourself.
Someone else has found the meek one for an attack.
Well, I mean, how can you not? I'm going to guess your audience has just been cut in half.
Well, he just, yesterday, Allison accused him of his entire existence of being a run-on sentence because he has a way of yammering inefficiently in a way that has made him strangely beloved among the most neurotic in our audience. People who, the most anxious in our audience, that's the Guillermo Mafia, correct?
Am I allowed to speak now, or what are we going to do here?
Well, keep it tight. But yeah, sure.
You can, right? You do you know how? Am I vindicated on Deion Sanders now? Am I vindicated on that sound of, I'll play the sound. This sounds like what I imagine the 90s were for Hank Azaria. The sound that we're about to play is me having an embarrassing gaffe with Deion Sanders. But Stugotz, did you see that story that came out? That Deion Sanders said that rock bottom for him was when he was having threesomes. When he was so empty.
I'd like that to be my rock bottom.
I think a lot of people are arguing that, but I understand what he was saying, Hank. He had everything and he couldn't find the things that made him happy. This is the quote. Rock bottom for me was having hundreds of suits and not covering the pain. Rock bottom for me was having hundreds of pairs of shoes but couldn't take a step in the right direction. Rock bottom for me was having 10 cars and wasn't going nowhere. Rock bottom for me was having a 14,000 square foot house but never feeling at home. Rock bottom for me was laying between 2 and 3 women at a time, but you get up unsatisfied.
First of all, I got to point out how poetic and literary that accounting of his own bottom was. Second of all, as bottoms go, it's pretty good.
Right.
But I do understand. I mean, I am not actually a major movie star, but I've known many. And we were talking about this a little bit last night, Dan, that, I've seen a lot of people, including myself, think that success and money are going to bring you happiness, and it really freaks you out when they don't.
You're sitting across from somebody who thinks that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it has brought me happiness, yes.
It has? So you're the one success story of success and money?
Well, he wants more. He wants more.
I mean, I always want more, yes. There's never enough.
It's a good problem to have, for sure.
Right.
But I have seen many people feel very empty, and it freaks them out, even though they got everything they wanted.
I think there's a lot of people in the audience who would like to feel that kind of empty. Cars, mansions, money, suits, shoes, threesomes.
I wish for everybody listening or watching that they can experience that version of emptiness.
So here was me asking Deion Sanders about that because I was pretty sure that at one time in my life, I had a conversation with him for a magazine story I was writing about how much he enjoyed sex and had a sex addiction. I thought.
Wow.
But this is how it went when I asked him. I think we've talked to you before briefly. I don't know how. At one point, you had gone public saying you had a sex addiction, right?
No.
Okay.
No, that wasn't me. That was another guy. Ain't no sex addiction. I love sex just as much as you love sex. Ain't no addiction. You like I'm a sexaholic or something? You try to get a confession out of me.
I feel like I've talked to you about that before.
No, that wasn't me. That was the other Sanders. That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
So am I vindicated by this admission, or does this not represent an addiction when rock bottom for you is laying between 2 and 3 women at a time, but you get up unsatisfied.
Yeah, you're probably vindicated. Although that was part of a laundry list of like 7 other things that made him feel empty. But
I have a feeling if we ask the guys in the other room if he's vindicated, they will go the other way. Guys, do you feel like Dan's vindicated? I don't feel like one has anything to do with the other. To be quite honest with you, you guys feel like he's vindicated?
I'll give it to you, Dan.
Yeah, you gotta win, Dan. You gotta win. He flat out denied that he had any sort of sex addiction, and now he's coming out and admitting that the worst part of his life was when he was having threesomes, which seems a little sex addict-y.
yeah, I mean, I still want to know: did he write that statement himself?
It is very preachery.
Yeah.
You're right that he's got the parallel construction down, the cadence. He's had that for a long time. Few people have been as entertaining talking in sports as that guy has been over decades.
Hey, it was a beautifully constructed piece of writing.
You did this whole thing just to prove you were right several years ago?
That's correct.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. As the new season gets underway, the TuneIn app has every baseball fan covered from opening day to the World Series. Listen to your favorite team with live calls from every MLB game with TuneIn Premium, your all-in-one audio app. TuneIn brings together not only Major League Baseball coverage, but other live sports, music, news, and podcasts, including all your favorite ESPN radio podcasts like Stupidity. Download the TuneIn app and begin your free 30-day trial of TuneIn Premium today. Here's your SportsCenter update. Tiger Woods lost to Brandt Snedeker, 2-1, Sneds, on the second day of the World Golf Championships Dell Technologies Match Play Championship. That's a bit wordy. He will need to beat Patrick Cantlay, and a Snedeker loss to Aaron Wise today to advance to the round of 16. Greg Schiano has resigned from the Patriots coaching staff after 2 months, saying that he needs to spend more time on his faith and with his family. With the Vivid Seats app, it's easy to find awesome seats to any game. Just go to the App Store or Google Play and download the app and enter promo code CHAMPS at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Don't buy just any seat. Get a Vivid seat.
You realize you're talking to a mic. You don't need to yell.
Thank you.
I always yell.
I speak very loud. I am always yelling.
You're right up on a mic.
You should hear these headsets.
Dial it down.
That's why I have a headache every day when I'm driving home. My own voice. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
More than Stu from the Clevelander on ESPN Radio.
Some of Pitbull's lyrics so that he could dig deep into his soul. He could feel what it's like to wear incredibly tight white pants with a women's batting practice shirt.
Oh my God. 2 + 2, I'm going to undress you. 3 and 3, you're going to undress me. 4 and 4, we're going to freak some more. Honey got me swishing like a dreadlock. She don't wrestle, but I got her in a headlock. Yabba dabba doo, make her bedrock.
Yeah!
Esta tan linda, esta tan rica, tien tremendo culo.
Excellent.
That was terrible.
No, it was great.
Nailed
No,
it.
it was
You read
great.
it like you've heard that
It was
song
great.
before.
It was,
What
it
did
sounded
I
like
just
you were
say?
singing it.
What did that mean?
Don't worry about it.
Just did a little... But first, a happy 41st birthday to New York Jets coach Adam Gase of the franchise.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
So now, during the break, Hank Azaria and Stugotz were talking about the Mets, and this is a particularly miserable alliance these two have in their fandom. When you're talking about things like the Mets, things like the Jets, things like the Knicks. But they were talking about Fizdale last night. What happened with him? What happened that you guys found so funny?
Well, the Knicks lost again, which is a good thing for the Knicks and Knicks fans, but David Fizdale was very upset that his team had lost a game they had to lose. And I am saying that David Fizdale was acting there. Now, Hank would know better because he's an actor, but I think Fizdale is trying to throw everyone off the scent that the Knicks are actually tanking here.
I didn't see the footage of that particular flip out by him, which he does every once in a while. But I would say he seems genuine to me. His job is to try very hard to get that team to win. But the beauty of the Knicks is that they can try as hard as they like. They are still almost definitely going to lose. It's very organic what's going on over there. So, it passes my optics. It seems very genuine.
But you guys are sitting here, you're talking World Series for the Mets. Like, how do you guys not learn your lessons? How is it possible that Mets fans do not learn their lessons?
I am not.
You guys were just talking. You guys were just talking World Series.
Feels positive. I'm. The Mets went 11-2 last year to start.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yes, and there was some. I was happy about that, and until I saw some stat on ESPN that said that like only 10% of teams that started that way in the last 30 years have even made the playoffs. And the Mets certainly held true to that. No, I don't. The Mets. It takes a lot to get me positive about the Mets. Certainly, an opening day victory is not going to do it.
But
they finished the season 77-85, by the way.
But I can understand the excitement. They won yesterday 2-0, so they're finally learning to give DeGrom some run support.
That is progress. Last year, he would have had a no decision off of that performance, for sure, almost.
Right, and I was really trying to help you through the A block of HQ, where that is one of the questions.
Yes.
And you just got to be irrational, and you got to. After one game, the formula worked. It's DeGrom, and we haven't even gotten to Thor yet, or Zach Wheeler wheels up, and so
wheels up.
I think about that. So DeGrom, the formula worked. You got great starting pitching, a great bullpen. And Robinson Cano, the free agent acquisition, actually they traded, I believe. They get 2 RBIs from him plus a home run. I mean, Robinson Cano, what do you know? How about that?
I just hate the optics of an aging ex-Yankee being a Met. Even though Granderson was really great for them, right. It drives me insane.
I know.
I mean,
you're still hanging on to that stuff? Like free agency is bothering you?
Oh, absolutely.
Hang on to this stuff forever, Dan.
As a Mets, Jets, and Knicks fan, all I really have is to analyze how the teams are horrible. That's all I have. I don't get any joy in victory, or I just get into the weeds of how...
But don't you outgrow that? Help me out here, guys. Do you not outgrow at some point the not wanting the guy in your uniform because he played for another team? That feels like a very immature sports fan viewpoint that you grow out of with maturity.
No, the opposite. The first 7 times it happened, I was okay with it. Then
Right.
you get beaten down, and it just doesn't work out, and it's horrible, and you get very traumatized by it.
There are 5-month-old babies in Boston who have experienced more championships than me and Hank have experienced with the Mets and Jets our entire lives.
Mets, Jets, and Knicks.
And Knicks, yes.
It's horrible because they won't. Although I think not signing Machado and Harper was probably the right thing to do. I'm on board with not doing that. But
well, the Wilpons don't have any money to do that. They're too busy paying Bobby Bonilla. They don't have any money to do that.
Yes, and paying SNY back or whatever strange deal they have going on there. But why not just sign Derek Jeter at this point? Sign Mariano. I mean, just sign him. Sign the ghost of Lou Gehrig.
Mike, Hank is one of these guys who still gets misty and nostalgic on opening day. I thought all of them had died.
No, me and Jim Brockmeyer, my alter ego Jim Brock. I still, opening day.
But
Jim
Misty,
Brockmeyer refers to it as the sweetest of life's lives that you still have. For Mets fans, it's all we have, right?
Yes.
That Family Guy video.
Right.
Look, an opening day. Here's the first pitch, and the season is over for the Mets.
But what we have for a fleeting second is hope. You're right. Yes.
Hope for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Hollandsworth on the Marlins broadcast yesterday said the best 2 words in sports is opening day. Now, I always thought the best 2 words in sports was Game 7. But it got me thinking, since everyone agrees, Game 7, I don't know what Todd Hollandsworth was on.
Well, no. He said opening day. No, he said Game 7 was the best 2 words. He said the next best 2 words are opening day.
Okay, so what is actually the next best 2 words? Because it can't be opening day. It's Super Bowl. I'm going to say Set Hut.
Set Hut. Oh.
Set Hut is not as good as Super Bowl, is it?
Some people would take a Game 6 before opening day.
Oh, no. That's a
me-
terrible thing to say.
Put it on the poll at Lebitard Show. What makes you mistier, Game 6 or opening day?
Oh.
Because it used to be that the writers, the poets, would wax nostalgic about opening day and what it means, change of season.
I'd rather have Game 1 than opening day.
Really, you guys genuinely don't care about opening? Am I the only old white man that cares about opening day? Is that it?
No, all the old white men care.
I'm the only one in here.
That's baseball's problem.
This old black man actually cares about opening day.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, you're a young black man.
Well, if you say so.
So good, yay! I'm glad to hear that. It's spring. It's the rite of passage. It should be a national holiday. It's lovely. Nobody cares.
My favorite 2 words in sports is "Let's get ready to rumble."
Okay.
Cha-ching! Time for some ads.
What happened?
How do you argue with that, Hank?
You can't.
How do you argue? You lose is what you do. You lose. You lose. Do not count the words. The way
was
he
off
says
by
them,
3
it's 2
words.
words.
Count the words.
Don't count the words. This weekend is going to be wonderful. Why? Because I'm going to be sleeping the entire time on my Casper mattress. Stugotz is here to tell you about it. You're going to want to wait around for the sports flag.
Warmer weather is finally here, and that means it's time for spring cleaning. You could spruce up the house and yard, but for a real fresh start, get a Casper mattress. The Casper mattress combines 4 layers of pressure-relieving foams for all-night comfort, plus the breathable foams are designed to keep you cool all night long. You'll love sleeping on a Casper mattress. Go to Casper.com, use code STU for $100 towards the purchase of select mattresses. That's Casper.com, code STU. Additional fees may apply for Alaska and Hawaii. Terms and conditions apply.
Oye, this is the Dan Batard.
It's not irrational confidence with Chris because anytime there's been any sort of physical challenge, Fat Chris has risen to the challenge.
I'm going to make the 43-yarder.
Oh, dude, I think you could do this.
Yeah.
I took off my glasses so I don't break my glasses. Here you go. Oh! 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 Ah!
Heads up. I'm done. Sorry.
Chris Cody has gone 0 for 23 today. And it's been a disaster for him, but at least he tried.
I would think all these people would say, hey, he didn't make it, but he was a better athlete than I thought he was.
Una figura, de Héctor aprendí la sabrosura. Nunca he visto una joya tan pura.
Esto pa' que quede lo que yo hago dura.
Con altura.
Yeah, this is Mo Sizlak from The Simpsons, which is Sports Center update from Wendy's there. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance, whatever that is. Get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro plus premium gasoline. I fell asleep in the middle of that.
Very long.
And now here's Chief Wiggum with your Sports Center update. Tiger Woods lost to Brant Snedeker, 2-1 on the second day of the World Golf Championships. Dell Technologies Match Play Championship. Boy, that's a long title for a very boring thing. He will need to beat Patrick Cantlay, and a Snedeker loss to Aaron Wise today to advance to the round of 16. I actually lost the will to live while I was reading that. This is Agador from the... Stop laughing because I'm doing the sports now for the people. Agador from the birdcage to tell you that Greg Schiano, is it Schiano or
Schiano?
whatever his name is, he resigned from the Patriots coaching staff after 2 months. He said that he needs to spend more time on his faith and his family. I don't understand that.
It was weird.
Can't you do that and also work? What is this?
It's a good point.
Great point.
Finally, this is Comic Book Guy here to tell you that Nicolas Cage's 4th marriage, number 4, has come to an abrupt end. The Blast reports that Cage is seeking an annulment from his new bride just 4 days after the couple tied the knot. Yes, but he was awesome in Con Air.
That's correct.
Professor Frank is now here to tell you that the all-new Wendy's Biggie Bag is here, and it's the total package, people, for $5. You get the bacon double stack, 4-piece nuggets, plus a small fry and a drink, and of course, clogging of the arteries. Like it.
No! It's a sponsor!
Oh, no,
it's
no.
a sponsor!
You don't get, I was being ironic. I think the people at Wendy's understand that when I say that, I mean the exact opposite. It's actually quite healthy for you, and you will live approximately 12 minutes longer each bite you take. When you're looking for a giant meal without the giant price, grab the Wendy's Biggie Bag for $5. Price and participation may vary. And You can also see a doctor as directed.
Come on.
What? You're a corporate shill, damn it.
That's what they always call me.
For the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
How comfortable are you with your impersonations? You've worked with all of them. Hank Azaria with us on ESPN Radio. You've worked with De Niro, with Pacino, with Stallone, with Woody Allen, and you do impersonations of all.
Never
of
worked with Stallone. I just imitated him.
Oh, is that it?
Yes, that was the extent of my professional connection to Sylvester Stallone.
And do you imitate him well?
I do not a bad Stallone. It's not bad. It's a little, yeah. It's more. Well, Rocky's a little stupider. Rocky's and Stallone's actually a little more polished, a little more like here. But yeah, doing not bad, Stallone.
How about which is your favorite from among? If you're doing an impersonation, I don't want to turn you into a trained monkey here. Although you kind of already are one.
Yeah, that's my job, basically. Job description. It's right there in my resume. Trained vocal monkey. I stopped doing impressions a long time ago, so I'm like arrested in like 1982 that way. My favorite one to always do was young Eric Roberts, which is obscure. Probably most of your audience even know who I'm talking
Please
about.
give us
So
that.
obscure,
We
man.
are so ready. We are so here. For
Pope of Greenwich Village, Eric Roberts. It's hard to do it without cursing, but they took my freaking thumb. Challenge. They took my thumb. I used to like to do that one.
So Hank Azaria is with us. It's very good.
I used to also like to do Mickey Rourke from back in the day. Again, Pope of Greenwich Village. Because Mickey Rourke now, he just sounds like a lot older actors sound, which is just gravelly. But, back in the day, he used to talk like this. I don't understand why. How do you get from this voice, the ultra cool mellow tones of this, to talking like that? How is that?
That's it.
Pacino went a similar route. Young Al, Godfather Al, right? Mm-hmm. Nice high, calm voice, chilling, would threaten you, but it was up here. And now, Al is like a wounded bear. I don't understand.
We have obsessed for 10 years over the thing that he shouted at you in the chair in Heat. He just, he wasn't in Heat. In the movie Heat,
yes.
He is shouting because she's got a great ass. And I mark as the tipping point on when Al Pacino went from movie actor to cartoon, cartoon character.
Yeah, he yelled, because she got a great ass, at me, which terrified me. And if you watch that again in Heat, you'll see it's over my shoulder. I'm not on camera, but you see I just go, Jesus, when he does that. And I'm not acting at all. I'm genuinely terrified by Al Pacino. That was Hank Azaria asking Al Pacino not to hurt him. It wasn't in character at all. And then he actually ad-libbed up. He goes, I'm sorry. Something happens to me when I think about a woman's ass. And all that's in the movie. And you know what happened there? Michael Mann, who directed that, he does like 100 takes of everything. And I think Al just had lost his mind at that point. It was like the 98th time he had to say it. And he just started freaking out and yelling.
And how about you? You just kept slinking in the chair 100 times? You just had to take that? A version of that?
I was a young actor, as it was one of my first things. I actually was shooting Heat and The Birdcage at the same time. And
wow. Those were the days, huh?
Yeah, those were my glory days, frankly. And, Al was improvising a lot, and I didn't know if I could improvise back. I was too scared, and I asked Michael Mann, should I improvise? When Al's improvising, and Michael Mann thought about it and went, nah, just say what's true, man. Okay. So the only improvised line of mine was, Jesus, when Al screamed at me, and it made it into the movie.
Which was real, though.
Absolutely real. As real as...
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
have been one in a free throw, Stugotz.
No, it was 2 buckets. It was 0 for 1 from the charity stripe.
The charity stripe. The charity stripe. I mean, are you Red Auerbach or John Wood? The charity stripe. There is nobody in America right now using that phrase except for a hack broadcaster.
And Bob Ryan. Tim Kirchin going to join us in about 15 minutes on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get in touch with the show anytime to the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed at Batard Show at Stugotz790. You know what never goes out of style? Surprising a friend or loved one with buy one, get one free multicolored rose bouquets for $29.99 from 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, just go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN.
Hank Azaria in studio with us. Birdcage, The Simpsons, Heat. Ray Donovan, Brockmire. The resume is impressive. I think it could have been on Friends. You were close to being on Friends. You auditioned for Friends.
No, I was on Friends. I auditioned to be Joey twice. It's the only time I ever asked to go back into an audition after they already had rejected me once, which takes a lot of balls to beg that kind of rejection. But we all knew the show was going to be so good that I was like, I gotta try again. And they promptly threw me out the second time, very politely. And then they gave me the role of Phoebe's scientist boyfriend.
Did you met the monkey?
Yeah, we were saying before that I don't mind being a trained monkey, doing my voices on the air, which reminded me of if you remember the first season of Friends, Schwimmer, who played Ross, had this monkey, Marcel, who he hated the monkey, by the way, absolutely hated it in real life because the monkey would ruin all his jokes. He would say a punchline well, but the monkey would be hitting his face while he said it, so they had to do it again. The monkey was trained only up to a point. Right. So in order to get the monkey to go where they needed him to go, his trainer was also, and this also drove Schwimmer crazy and everybody else, the monkey was named Monkey. That was the monkey's name. And the trainer, to get him to go places, would put like little berries or nuts place and go, get it, monk, get it. Get it, monk! Get it, monk! Get it! In the middle of the scene, you're trying to act. So that would bother me too. And so the monkey would go where the thing was and he would eat it, So now I'm sitting near the monkey and I'm like on a couch. The monkey's like right behind me. And I see the monkey sort of doing that thing that cats do before a hairball comes up, like that thing. And the monkey, and I'm trying to get we're in the middle of shooting, I'm trying to get people's attention. Like, I think the monkey's about to have a moment here, everybody. And the monkey, sure enough, pukes all over the back of the couch. Just like throws up all his little treats. And I look down, and the monkey throw up is moving. It's moving, okay? There's life to it. There weren't nuts and berries. He was eating live maggots.
Oh, no.
That he was swallowing whole. And he just threw them all up. It was like alien.
You thought it was nuts and berries because...
Well, I mean, from a distance, there's a little...
Why would it be maggots?
Exactly. Why would I think it was live maggots that the monkey was swallowing whole?
Schwimmer hated the monkey. In real life, are you breaking news here on ESPN Radio that Schwimmer hated the monkey?
He hated that monkey. Yeah. And I came to hate him too.
Now, armed with hindsight, did they get the casting of Joey right, or could you have done a better job?
To be honest, no, they absolutely did. Matt LeBlanc, in my opinion, often in the early days of shows, characters are finding themselves, they're figuring out how to write for people, this and that. So first few episodes, I was like, I could have done better than that. And then, in my opinion, not long into it, he became arguably the best one. He was hilarious. So yes, they got it right. Plus, he's handsomer than I am.
And that's the role. Like that is, you had never auditioned twice for anything. You wanted that
never
that
before,
badly.
yeah.
Because you thought the show would. Everyone felt the show was going to be that.
Had no doubt that. I mean, you didn't know that it was going to turn into like the Beatlemania success that it turned into, but had no doubt it was going to be great. The same year that NBC came out with Friends, they came out with ER, and everybody knew that was going to be huge too.
Right. It's amazing how much that show still resonates. I'm surprised it still holds up. Like
I don't think it does hold up.
No, my kids are obsessed with that show. And Netflix paid a lot of money for that show because kids are watching it.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Does Friends hold up? Because I don't think that Friends does hold up. What do you got for us, Amin?
Stugotz, what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
All it is laugh tracks. There's nothing funny about that show.
I
it doesn't hold up at all.
No, I watch it, and I'll watch episodes for the 4th and 5th. I'm telling you, it's all my daughters watch, and I'm still laughing at the same stuff I was laughing at when it originally came out. It's funny, man. I enjoy it.
That's because you have a laugh track telling you when to laugh.
Except when I'm on, right? You like my stuff.
My favorite episode.
Yeah.
The only time it's redeemable.
Are you scared of Highly Questionable today? The idea that you have to get on here and have sports takes? Because Stugotz, he needs some help from you. Like, what are the questions on the show today that you think that what does Hank need to do to which question?
Well, the first question is, why the hell should we listen to anything Hank Azaria says about sports?
Well, that he's got.
Right.
That he can do that one himself without your help. What about ones that are more difficult?
Will the Mets opening day win lead to irrational expectations from Met fans like Hank Azaria?
Well, he could do that one as well.
Okay.
Because
but no, I wanted to take it out to the extreme,
him.
Hank. You have to say, yes, we think we're going to win the World Series, okay? At 1-0.
Well, all right. I mean, I'll take that into consideration. That's your informed opinion.
All right, we went over the Knicks and David Fizdale. I think we're good there. Did Purdue deserve to win, or did Tennessee choke like dogs?
See, this is where it gets complicated. This right here is where it gets complicated because neither one of you know anything about Purdue or Tennessee basketball.
Or college basketball. I went to a Division III school.
Stugotz can fake his way through any college basketball conversation. Now, keep in mind, anything he says is not informed by anything. It's just research, cheating from notes, and he can deliver for you on these subjects. I don't know which one. I'm going to guess Stugotz would say choking here because he likes to accuse people of choking.
No, see, I'm going to go the other way. I think Purdue got robbed last night. So Hank, I think what we saw last night.
Purdue won last night.
I mean, Purdue won last night, but Tennessee got robbed. They did not choke. They got robbed even though they won. Now, Tennessee did not choke. Tennessee deserved to win that game. And so you got the best and the worst of the NCAA tournament. You got what we love about it, which is we all discovered this Ryan Klein guy together. Okay? Like, that's the first time we all discovered him together. Even Jay Billis discovered him last night.
That's not true.
Maybe I took that a little bit too far. But you cannot have the referees. That foul at the end of the game did not affect the shot. And you can't have the referees in a great March Madness game where guys are hitting big buckets on both teams back and forth. 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. Both teams hitting big shots. You cannot let the referee decide the outcome of that game. That's exactly what happened last night. Tennessee got jobbed. That's your take.
All right. I mean, that's a better take than I have, considering all my take would be is I don't care. I don't really watch college basketball. I don't even fill out a bracket. So that was a lot more informed.
Okay, so I think we've got a problem headed our way at 4:30 Eastern when Hank Azaria, no comments, the questions on a show called Highly Questionable because it's all about the answers to questions. Our friend and Hank Azaria's friend, Tim Kirkshin, will be joining us next.
Estás escuchando el programa de Dan Le Batard en ESPN Radio.
Yeah, I'm a dirty old dog. All day, no way, Jose. Your girl only go one way. Ah, ye madre.
Every week during the baseball season, ESPN's premier baseball insider joins Dan and Stugotz to drop some hardball knowledge and take your calls.
2 plus 2, I'm gonna undress you. 3 and 3, you're gonna undress me. 4 and 4, we're gonna freak some more.
Here is Dan Le Batard, Stugotz, and Tim Kirkshin on ESPN Radio.
All right. ESPN Sports Center update. You guys, you call out the Simpsons voice you want each little blurb.
Oh, Simpsons, you're so much more
Any
than
voice.
the Simpsons.
Yeah, any voice at all.
All right.
your Sports Center update. The Dolphins have traded Robert Quinn to the Cowboys for a 2020 sixth-round pick. The Bears have traded Jordan Howard to the Eagles for a 2020 sixth-round pick that can be elevated to a fifth-rounder. Duffman, very popular.
Leave it on Duffman. Leave it on Duffman.
Duffman blows out my voice.
Okay.
I won't be able to
All
talk.
right, no more
Dr.
Duffman.
Nick, Dr. Nick.
Dr. Nick, finally, an Atlanta woman became the first living HIV-positive kidney donor in the world. I know where the kidney is. On Monday, when the surgeons at Johns Hopkins
Nat from Mad About You.
Who?
Nat from Mad About
Oh,
You.
Nat from Johns Hopkins Medicine in Baltimore transferred her organ to a recipient who's also HIV positive. For the what? You don't know that guy?
That's terrible. What just happened
Boy,
there?
what is that?
What just happened? All of it. What just happened? With ending with HIV positive.
Yeah, HIV positive. Go out on an up note there. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the livelong day.
Roy, he does 100 great voices. What did you just ask him for?
He went with Mad About You.
Yeah,
Mad from Mad About You. The dog walker from Mad About You.
I'm just stunned by everything that happened there just because that was not where I thought Roy was going to go with that.
Hey, for most of your audience, Mad About You was a show that was on about 20 years ago, back when, before there was really internet. We all had a wonderful time. And then I met Helen Hunt and married her, and then we got divorced.
Sorry, Hank.
We are sorry to bring up bad memories.
Okay, she's a lovely
bring 'em back
woman.
there.
We're both much happier.
Not together. So,
Separate.
Tim Kirchen is going to be with us now. 786-456-4837 is the telephone number. He will take all your calls on baseball or whatever it is that you've got. 786-456-4837. If you've got etiquette questions, life advice you need, call Tim Kirchen, 786-456-4837. Rob, you're on with Tim Kirchen. Go ahead.
Hey, Tom. I wanted to know if you could grow any kind of facial hair, what would you grow and why?
Well, I would grow a mustache because apparently a mustache could make your nose look smaller, and my nose is way too big. But I had a mustache briefly. I looked ridiculous in it. I had a beard briefly. I looked even worse in that. So nobody looks worse in facial hair than me.
Would you be kind enough to send us a photo of you in either a beard or a mustache so we could distribute it, please?
It was a college senior thing. It was done on a bet. I only had it for about a month, and I don't think there's a picture, thank goodness. My dad, God bless him, took one look at it and said, shave that off.
Parker, you're on with Kirchen. Go ahead, Parker.
If you had to eat the same exact meal for the rest of your life, what would your drink and what would your meal be?
The meal would be rigatoni with meat sauce, and I would wash it down with a Diet Mountain Dew.
Nice.
Marcus, you're on with Tim Kirchen.
Solid.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Hey, Tom. Everyone complains about how boring baseball is, so I think you should put balloons throughout the ballpark.
Okay, all right. Thanks for the call from Apollo 11. Ben, you're on with Tim Kirchen. Go ahead.
Hey, Tim, Red Sox, one game. How concerned are you about their relief pitchers?
It's only one game. I'm not worried about Chris Sale. I'm not worried about the bullpen yet, but they're going to have to see who's going to get the final 3 outs as they move along. But that's the most runs ever given up by a defending world champion in an opening day, but I'm not going to panic about any of that if I'm a Red Sox fan.
How about getting Kimbrel?
Kimbrel needs to pitch in the big leagues, but they're not going to get Craig Kimbrel and bring him back to Boston. That's for sure.
Tim, have you seen enough? Are the Mets going to win the World Series? What?
Stugotz, they're a contender, one of 9 contenders in the National League for me that can make the playoffs. And the National League doesn't have any great teams, so if you make the playoffs in the National League, I think you can go to the World Series, which means I think the Mets are in that group. I think they did some really good things in the offseason, and a bunch of them showed up yesterday.
Okay, Tim, hey, it's Hank Azaria. How are you?
Oh, okay, Hank.
Yeah, it's your old friend Jim Brackmeyer. I want to mark the date and time. What Tim just said about the Mets, that's our World Series for the year. That's it.
Yes.
That's the pinnacle.
We'll take one of 9.
Yeah, one of Tim just saying maybe one of 9 is as good as it's going to get for us.
Billy, did you see Stugotz was like shaking a fist? That's right. Tim Kirkshin just said we're one of 9 contenders, and Stugotz celebrated like it was the '86 World Series, and the ball was going through Buckner's legs.
That's all we have.
There's only 15 NL teams.
We'll take it. All right. Kirkshin said it. He's credible, and one of 9 is fine for me and Hank.
Taylor, you're on with Tim Kirkshin. Go ahead, Taylor.
Hey, Tom. I was wondering if you wanted to applaud the O's yesterday for plunking Luke Voigt after his celebration, after his first inning World Series winning home run and screwing up multiple choreographed celebrations.
Well, they didn't hit him on purpose because they hit him with the bases loaded to force in a run, an inning in which the Yankees got no hits and scored 2 runs. So I don't think they plunked him on purpose, and that guy is so big and so strong, I don't think it hurt anyway that he got hit by a pitch.
Kyle, you're on with Tim Kirkshin. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kyle.
What are your expectations for Alberto Mondesi this season?
He's a really good-looking young player, and he can fly, and a lot of people think he's got a huge upside to him. But he's on a pretty bad team at the moment, and we'll see where this goes. But there's so many great young players in the game, and he's not in that elite group, but he's pretty darn good.
He can fly?
Zach, you're on. You'd think that would be an advantage, being able to fly. Bob, you're on with Tim Kirkshin. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Tom. So the Mariners currently have 3 times as many wins as anyone in the league, on pace for 162 wins. My question is, will they finish above 500? Cheddar.
No, they're not going to finish above 500, I don't think. I think they'll be just under it. They will not contend, and the streak will continue. No playoff appearances since 2001. Sorry. They just gave up too much in the offseason.
Let's update our tournament here with Tim Kirkshin. Some of the teams that are out because Gonzaga won, so FSU is out. That means this is gone from our Looks Like tournament.
Jackie McMullen looks like the substitute teacher that says, "I'll wait," and then doesn't talk until the class quiets down.
Tough one, man.
Tennessee is gone in overtime against Purdue. Tennessee represented by
Sam Darnold looks like a Lego policeman.
Very true. Michigan is gone. This game was awful. Michigan is gone. That means this is gone.
Jim Harbaugh looks like the guy who scoffs at you for ordering your steak medium well, then proceeds to tell the waiter, "Just run a flashlight over mine."
And Oregon is gone, defeated by Virginia. Virginia's still getting in everyone's way. Here is Oregon, gone from the tournament.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson looks like what LeVar Ball thinks LeVar Ball looks like.
It's Oregon, by the way. Fine.
Thank you, Stugotz. Matthew, you're on with Tim Kirkshin. Go ahead.
Hi, Tim. Is $9 a square foot too much to pay for wood flooring?
Too much to pay for what?
Wood flooring. $9 a square foot. Is it too much to pay for wood flooring?
Oh, God, that's like a million of the things that I just don't know anything about, how much per foot anything is. So I would say that's just about right, but I don't know the answer at all.
Mike, we also have to update the NIT quarterfinal matchups here. So Indiana is is out and is a 1 seed that is out. Indiana is represented by
Ed Orgeron, Doug Peterson, Houston Nutt, and Mike Leach look like the dogs playing poker painting.
Creighton is gone from the NIT. Creighton represented by
Mike Greenberg looks like the host of a dinner party who, when serving the wine, announces, "This is a Chateau Latour 1899, and then says while chuckling, "That's the year, not the price, bud," while looking directly at you.
Number 4, Colorado's gone from the NIT. That means this is gone.
Rob Pelinka looks like a wax sculpture of Rob Lowe.
And this is a bummer. NC State is gone from the NIT. That means this is gone.
Quinn Snyder looks like tax evasion.
He does. Like, there's no disputing that. Rick, you're on with Kirkshin. Go ahead, Rick.
Hi, Tom. I was wondering, would you rather live as a cartoon version of yourself in the real world or as your actual self in a cartoon world?
Well, I'm pretty close to the cartoon version of myself in the real world with the way things are going here lately. So I'll go with that because.
Well, you saw it, Tim, right? You saw what we saw on television, which is you standing next to Teixeira and Keith Olbermann, and you look like their 4-year-old.
I'm sure he felt it, Dan.
You look like their 4-year-old. Is that what you're saying when you say lately? You feel?
Well, it's way more than that. But yesterday was ridiculous. I mean, I hate Twitter, but I checked Twitter, and like 100 straight people came out and said, I can't believe he's that small. Look how small he looks. Like, give him a chair, give him a stool, something. I mean, this is it. It's 5'5", 142. Those are the numbers, and I can't change them.
See you later, Tim. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay.
You are listening to the Magic City's Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Get in touch with the show anytime to the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed at Le Batard Show at Stugotz790. If you missed any of our interviews, go check out the entire interview on demand in the Dan Le Batard podcast brought
with us. We were talking during the break. He's got a lot of stories about a lot of interesting things, but I was just telling him how much I liked Mystery Men, even though it was just silly and ridiculous and dumb and bad in, I thought, good ways. And I said to Hank, I said, that must have been a lot of fun to work on. And his response was, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was one of those pain in the ass jobs that it was the early days of, computer graphics, computer generated. One of the first comedies to really try to do that. And it's always tedious doing stuff like that. But in the early days of that, it was super tedious, and not good for comedy. Like, you have to stand just right and do so many technically annoying things.
Like throwing a fork.
Yeah.
Being able to throw a fork. That was your superpower.
Yes.
Was throwing a fork. So you had to just stand in place pretending to throw a fork
Yes.
so they could animate it. And it was
Yes. Yeah, and that stuff is very technical and boring and weird. And you're trying to be funny while you're doing it right for the CGI. Also, there were too many cooks. Like Ben Stiller and Bill Macy and I all kind of couldn't agree on anything. And we'd stand there arguing with each other vehemently.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is calling William H. Macy Bill Macy a power move?
Total power move.
Total power move. We all noticed it. Yep, we all
You
noticed
establish
it.
yourself as alpha.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just tell us he's your friend next time, Hank.
I mean, it should be Bill Macy. I'd feel ridiculous calling him, hey, William H.
Yeah. Would you, if you were him, go, so William H., let me ask you a question.
That's the only way I could possibly refer to him.
Right.
Yeah, Robert Redford. How about that? He wanted to be called Bob. I never got comfortable with that one. I was always
You respected him too much?
Mr. I called him Mr. Red Bob. Mr. Red Bob. Bob. Anyway, I don't know. Mystery Men was a pain in the neck to me. But we were talking last night, Dan and I were, as we had dinner. That's a power move, mentioning that, Dan. and I had dinner.
Thanks for the invite.
We purposely excluded you, Stugotz.
Thank you.
No, Dan wanted to
Well,
bring
Dan had dinner. You watched.
Yeah, I was like, no, Stugotz. I need a break. But you know what, strangely enough, even though you weren't at dinner, I still was able to hear you.
From my house?
Yeah, I just heard you talking.
Just normal conversation.
Yeah, I just was like, I can hear Stugotz.
Yes.
I think Mystery Men actually stands up. It stands the test of time. We were talking about movies that do and don't stand the test of time.
That comedy is very difficult. Comedy is very difficult to sustain. We've had the conversation. I want to talk about comedy duos. I'll get to that in a second. But it's very difficult to sustain over decades. And Hank thinks that what was the one that you had that you thought held up? Was it Animal House? You thought Animal
House holds up comedically, but not socially. In a post-Me Too world, there's no place for Animal House. Seriously.
Right? Yes. Yeah, the 15 uncomfortable minutes on date rape. Probably not something that you need to have in your movie.
Not a hilarious topic.
No, even though I'm laughing uncomfortably and awkwardly, trying to figure out a way out of it.
You notice I stopped laughing. Right?
I noticed you got away from the whole thing, which fled the premise.
Oh!
Uh-oh. Oh,
Music. Wait a minute. What?
It's an anxiety.
It's an anxiety.
Ask your audience. Do they like this music, or do they
like this?
Do they like the music, or is it an anxiety?
How? This is a game show theme.
No.
Delightful. There was one question in there and 3 AAA batteries, so I gave you the question.
What, you didn't like Dick Clark?
What was it? Which game show was it again? The Pyramid? Was it the Pyramid?
Yeah, that was the $10,000 variety.
Okay. All right. It's good in small doses.
What's your favorite candy? Is the question. It was the only question. The Magic Creative Content is on its last legs, evidently. When that seems far less than magical.
It's a softball. Let's face it.
Yeah.
It survived the purge.
Is that a question directed at me?
What's your favorite candy?
I have a real sweet tooth. So you're coming to the right person. I would say my favorite candy is the Twix bar. I enjoy the Twix bar.
Nice.
What is Duffman's favorite candy?
Duffman enjoys old school candy like what are those weird peanut? Those peanuts, those weird orange peanuts that are made out of like foam. I don't know what they are. What are they?
Circus peanuts.
Circus peanuts.
That is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Drink all day, play all night. Let's get it popping on the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
So I ate a brownie at a dinner in Cabo and got no reaction. I said, a brownie and a half, and then we all got in the car. I'm trying to text somebody, and then the letters start like flying off my phone into my face. I pass out onto the ground, go under a rope with my head hanging off into the marina. I popped up, and I went from completely out of it to completely sober.
All right, 11:30 Sports Center update. This is Hank Azaria, your roving reporter. Guys, call out any Simpsons voice you want. More obscure, the better, I say, as long as I do them. Carl! ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Ferocious striker, 6th-ranked lightweight Edison Jr. Barboza puts his Muay Thai attack on display. Who?
Superintendent Chalmers.
One of my favorites. He puts his Muay Thai attack on display against fan favorite, 8th-ranked Justin the Highlight I can't pronounce that. It looks like it says Gotcha. Live in Philadelphia at UFC Fight Night.
Claude from Along Came Polly.
Oh, Claude from the prelims. Prelims, this is how you say it in America? Prelims. Start at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus. And the main card begin at 5 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. And now your Sports Center update. The Dolphins, many of whom I've caught and killed, have traded Robert Quinn to the Cowboys for a 2020 6th-round pick. Yar.
Young Eric Roberts.
The Bears, the freaking Bears have traded Jordan Howard to the Eagles, man, for a 2026 round pick that can be elevated to a 5th freaking rounder, man. They took my who? Common Raw from what movie was that I did? Oh, Night at the Museum. Ooh, that. Finally, the 20-year-old Bangladeshi woman gave birth to twins 26 days after giving birth to her first child. What? I don't even understand that. Sultana had 2 uteruses, a condition called uterus didelphys. Her baby and the twins were conceived and grown in separate wombs.
The detective
I'm
and Pretty
deeply
Woman.
disturbed by this.
The
Who?
detective and Pretty Woman.
The detective and Pretty Woman. Well, for all the latest, imagine I'm 23 years old. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout
You
the
don't
day.
even remember it? You don't even remember the
That was
detective?
just my own voice when I was 23.
One of my faves.
Yeah, it's a delightful character.
What?
Separate womb stand,
You don't get to say that very often.
It was just the detective, by the way. It didn't have a name.
Just a detective. Yeah, like 4 lines.
Hank Azaria is with us here on ESPN Radio, and we were talking about you not having fun on the set. What was something that you did that was the most fun? Was working with Robin Williams fun, or was there a dark undercurrent on Birdcage because he could spike back and forth personality-wise?
No, that was incredibly fun. Robin Williams, he was an amazing guy. He was off and on the way you think of Robin Williams, but he would do it just for you. Like, you'd be at the craft service table grabbing a bagel, and he always called me Cappy, your boss. What'd you do this weekend, Cappy? I said, nothing, Robin. I went bowling Saturday. Oh, bowling. And then he would do like 15 minutes just for you on bowling. Like, literally, just like as if he was on the Tonight Show, but it's only you standing there.
15 minutes you didn't want, right?
Well, no, there was often, I'd say 74% of it was hilarious. You know how Robin is. It's just a volume thing. But he would also but
Why
then
did he call you Cappy?
Cappy, boss? Probably because you couldn't remember my name. But he told a lot of people Cappy or boss. But he would also, he was the only movie star I ever saw that, when the tour would go by, the tour bus would go by at Paramount, most movie stars run inside to hide. He would run out and do 20 minutes for the people just on the tour at Paramount or whatever. He was really sweet.
How great would that be?
Yeah.
Also it sounds, and forgive me for the judgment in it, but it sounds needy as well. He must need it.
I guess so, but it was also really delightful.
Very
for the
cynical,
folks.
man. Can't
yes.
it just be nice? I mean, just a nice guy.
Well, I got to tell you, though, I found him to be, because he was perpetually on, I found it to be too much. And without diluting the genius, because I know how great he was. I'm not disputing how great he was. It was just too much for me. And the fact that he does it to a tour bus when he comes by is not exactly surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a mixture of both. But he also, conversely, though, Dan, he was the most, when he switched that off, of all the movie stars I've ever met, and I've met many, including Bill Macy, he was the most genuinely interested in other people. The most, doesn't matter who they were. He just really wanted to know how your life was, how your family was.
Not interested enough to know their names, though, evidently.
Well, yeah, eventually
What
I think
is
he
your
did.
problem with Robin
What is going on here?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Banging on the Dead
Still a
with
little
Dan
too-
Levitard.
Back off, Cappy.
Come on, Cappy.
But I think I understand what you're saying. It was exhausting. He's exhausting. Yeah.
Well, you know, Robin, he had his on switch was intense. That's for
It's rich coming from you.
Season 3 of Brockmire premieres Wednesday, April 3rd, 10 p.m. on IFC. This is the passion project. We've enjoyed the hell out of this character. You're going to go, you're signed up for 4 seasons of Brockmire, right?
Yeah, season 3 will be out coming Wednesday on IFC, and then we're about to shoot season 4 this summer.
And how fun has that been? Because you've told us before that the first season you did it in 16 or 17 days.
Yeah.
Second season you really spread out, did it in
like 22 days, something ridiculous. Last year they gave us 30 days. I think we're back down to like 27 this year. Somehow we're being punished. I don't know why. I love it. It's literally like my life's work. Is a character I had in mind for years. And that said, it's very difficult. That schedule is nuts. And they tried their hardest to make me not enjoy it, but I still enjoy it.
Well, Stugotz, have you been surprised at all? Mike, Hank likes traditional sports radio. Hank likes listening to callers call in and a person answering questions about the Jets.
So he hates our show?
No. I mean, I love all sports radio. For the most, I have my favorites. I'm not going to tell you where you guys rank. You're in the top 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll give you top 7.
So 7th.
I enjoy in my old white mandom, in my old age, I find that I enjoy sports talk, I think, even more than sports itself. And I don't know what that is, but I like listening to people, smart people, entertaining people give their opinions about sports more than the game itself.
So you don't like Francesa?
You're going to go after Francesa? You're going to go after smart?
Easy there, Robin Williams.
I'll tell you, it's a product of your teams being lousy. I feel you. I root for the same teams. Yes.
I have no
Sports talk
choice
is more
but
entertaining.
to analyze how bad the Jets, Mets, and Knicks are.
Right.
That's much more interesting than the actual Jets, Mets, and
There
Knicks.
can't be a lot of people who like sports talk radio more than they like sports. There can't be.
You haven't been a Jets, Mets, and Knicks fan.
Guillermo, what are you laughing about?
The other day I was driving and I was listening to Mike Francesa on an app, and it was incredible. He was talking about what his name would have been if he was born on different days, because he was born. If I was born on the 17th, I would have been Patrick. But if I was on the 18th, my mom would have named me this and that. And I was like, this is incredible. I wish I was always driving around at this time, and this app always worked for me, so I could be listening to this constant. It was incredible.
It's jarring to watch Mike Francesa descend into the piranha pit of young people mocking him, and I'm not sure whether he recognizes the way.
Oh, he doesn't, Dan.
He doesn't recognize the amount of prank callers his show now has that they're just trying to bother him. You guys think he recognizes it? I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either. No, he has no idea.
No idea.
People are just trying to wind him up.
Yeah, and basically, look, Billy is not laughing because that's good radio.
No, it's great radio.
Billy likes that it's King Kong swatting at helicopters, and he's going to lose at the end because he's got a lot of.
He always
ego.
yells, "Do something better with your time. Go out, plant a tree." It's awesome.
Or he answers the question with zero knowledge of the subject.
What's wrong with that?
See, I even love that. I do. It's all really entertaining to me. I was telling you off the air, I like the NBA offseason more than the actual NBA season. I find the free agency and all the moves much more exciting than what actually goes on.
At Batard Show on Twitter and Instagram. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do you like sports radio more than you like sports itself?
I had coffee with my colleague half an hour ago.
Again, if you want to support the people who support us, you could support Hank Azaria by checking out Brockmire. It premieres Wednesday, April 3rd at 10 p.m. on IFC, Season 3. It's excellent. And you should support ZipRecruiter because you can expand your company's roster by finding the best candidates available using ZipRecruiter. They make this stuff very easy for you. They make it so that if you need to hire anybody, you end up not doing the difficult, dirty stuff that is complicated and that nobody wants to do. You just farm it out to people who are going to be able to hire for you better than most people would hire
Oh, they
for you.
scan thousands of resumes, Dan. They are the industry standard. And if you're looking to hire, look nowhere else than ZipRecruiter.com.
That is ZipRecruiter.com/Dan. ZipRecruiter.com/DAN. Check them out.
Podcasters, I want you to rewind this and listen, and just listen with the knowledge that Stugotz wasn't ready to read anything.
Estás en sintonía.
Hiring used to be hard. Multiple job sites, stacks of resumes, a confusing review.
Let's not waste the big movie star's time. Let's do stat of the day quickly. Give me the short version, please, so that we can stop wasting the movie star's time.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Courtesy of AJ Casabelli, Padres beat writer. The San Diego Padres are above 500 for the first time since June 8th, 2015.
Chris, do you have a dueling stat of the day better than that one?
The Mets are paying Bobby Bonilla almost twice as much as the Yankees are paying Aaron Judge.
Ouch. I said ouch because I know how much that Aaron hurt you to stumble on it there.
Yeah.
I know how much it hurt you. You had your big moment in front of the movie star, and what happened? That was going to be your chance. I believe that's how he was discovered, by nailing that particular thing in front of Robin Williams for Birdcage.
That's why they call him Chris Karaoke.
When is the movie star you speak of going to get here?
Karaoke.
I'm a television personality. That Bobby Bonilla stat's brutal. They're paying somebody else an insane amount, too. Can somebody look that up? They're paying somebody else something insane.
Okay, that's good. Just look that up, okay? Use that Google.
Like a guy who's no longer playing, you're saying?
Yes.
No, they're not. They're not paying.
They are.
No. I thought Bobby Bonilla was the only one who got that 1 year, $1 million every year until whatever it is.
Yes, but there's somebody else. I'm telling you that they're paying an absurd amount of money to per year besides Bobby Bonilla. I'm pretty sure I'm right about this.
Is David Wright?
Well, yes. That doesn't count.
Right.
Bernie Madoff?
No.
Mo the bartender. That voice
What?
is based on what? Where did that voice come from?
Dan, that voice, and we referred to him earlier, this voice here. Young Al Pacino from The Godfather, also from Dog Day Afternoon, another movie that holds up. Not a comedy, but, you know.
No, not
a comedy.
the opposite of a comedy,
No.
really. I don't know why you pointed at me another movie that holds up.
Because we were talking about movies.
I
that
know,
hold
but
up.
we were talking about comedy, the difficulties that comedy has holding up. Dog Day Afternoon is not in any way a comedy.
Also, some dramas have a difficult time holding up. Don't be such a purist, whatever you are. So I did this impression of Pacino. I'm dying here. Everybody's coming down on me. That was his famous line from Dog Day Afternoon. I was doing a play, talking like this. In the play, I played a drug dealer who talked like this. And I auditioned for The Simpsons to play Moe with this voice. And they said, well, we need to be gravelly. I guess because it was an imitation of those prank calls. Red, you mother, that guy. The bar in Jersey.
Uh-huh.
So if you take young Al Pacino and you make him gravelly, you'll get Moe the bartender. That's what happened there. Then. That's the origin comic.
How about Lou the Cop? What is the basis, the roots of Lou the Cop?
That's a very bad Sylvester Stallone. The aforementioned Sylvester Stallone is Lou the Cop. That's it. That's a bad Stallone impression.
Comic book guy who...
That was a guy that I lived next door to in college freshman year. He was in a room that was about 6 feet by 6 feet. He put a Barca lounger in it. And he sat there and he yelled things at everybody. What? Yes?
What about Nat from Mad About You?
Nat's a guy I grew up with also. Who ended up as a kid in my building in Queens. And he ended up being a doorman in the building. And actually became an actor.
Hank, it's Brett Saberhagen.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay,
They're
yes.
They're still paying Brett
Still
Saber?
paying
They'll
Brett.
stop paying him in 2029.
Right, there you go. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew there was something
Way to
absurd.
go,
Amazing.
Thank you. Very proud. Again, see, this is why I like sports talk more than... What am I going to do? Enjoy the Mets? What's to enjoy? But knowing that is fascinating.
The quack doctor, Dr. Nick.
What about him?
The voice is what? Where's that?
It's a bad Ricky Ricardo impression. Actually, it's a bad impression of Eddie Murphy doing an impression of Ricky Ricardo. That's what that is.
Okay, of course that's what it is. You thought that you thought everyone had the ability to mimic voices when you were a kid, right? Because you were so good at mimicking any voice instantaneously that you didn't think it was a special power.
Yes, ever since I was a wee tyke, I was imitating things, and I didn't know that everybody couldn't do it. About age 11, I'm like, people don't seem to be able to do this like I can.
When did you realize you could make a career out of it? When did you realize there was Simpsons money in it?
When I got that job and not even then, because I got the job at age 23. It wasn't until I was like in my 30s that we actually started really being paid a lot of money for it. But yeah, it was a marketable skill. I didn't even think that it was connected to acting. It wasn't until I got paid to do it that I realized that.
Stay with us, Hank Azaria.
Oye, people, esto es el Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Andy Roddick with us. You can choose one that you do now. It's either doing Ice Ice Baby or doing Cartman from South Park. Which do you choose?
Hey, Dad. I chose Cartman.
Jerry with your Sports Center update. No sponsor. No sponsor. So it's a freebie for you kids playing at home. Yell out the Simpsons character you want to hear. Boys.
Snake!
Who?
Snake.
Oh, Snake. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line, as do I. And now, your Sports Center update.
Hector from America's Sweethearts.
Hector from America's Sweethearts. Oh my, I haven't spoken like this in a long time. The Hornets and Bucks will play in the NBA's first regular season game in Paris in 2020. Why not Barcelona? I don't know. Cletus, the slack jaw yoker. The Spurs retired Manu Ginobili's jersey following their victory over the Cavaliers.
Jay from Herman's Head.
You are so strange, Roy. You are so strange.
Again, he sounds startlingly like a 25-year-old Hank Azaria. Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand are set to star in Joel Coen's new adaptation of Macbeth.
Peter Griffin.
I don't do Peter Griffin. No. I can try. Peter Griffin, according to Variety, the upcoming project, sports and originals.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Oh, Patches O'Houlihan. Now you're talking. Now you're in my wheelhouse, fella. It's original script written by Cohen, which is based off Shakespeare's iconic early 17th century tragedy. He will also direct the movie, marking the famed Hollywood figure's first major film credit without his regular collaborator, brother Ethan Cohen.
Young Eric Roberts.
Again with the young Eric
It's so
Roberts.
good, though.
Guys
It's
are
so good.
obsessed.
Yeah.
For all of the latest freaking headlines and information, tune in to Sports Center. They took my freaking Tom on ESPN Radio all throughout the freaking day, man.
It's so good.
I really didn't think it would evolve much beyond they took my freaking thumb. I thought that he wasn't going to be able to do much more than that. I didn't think he was going to be asked to do much more than that.
You were right.
Yeah. Pope of Greenwich Village for you kids at home. Good movie. Also stands the test of time, that movie.
Do you have something that you're proudest of having made? I know that that's always a difficult question for actors, but something that you're proudest to have been associated with. I mean, The Simpsons, obviously.
It's hard not to say that since it's become an iconic institution. But me personally, Brockmire, because it's I had tried so many times to develop something for myself and failed miserably. Now in this golden age of cable TV, you can actually creatively do what you want and curse how you want and say what you want. And it's a character that I had in mind for years and would have, 15 years ago, got totally screwed up in the television machine. So yeah, that's been the most gratifying.
What do you think the Simpsons fans in our audience, the rabid Simpsons fans, what do you think that they would be surprised about if you told them blank about the making of the Simpsons, or whether you guys thought it was going to succeed? The real Simpsons zealots, what are the stories from inside that you can tell them about that they might not actually know?
I would say the headlines of that are it takes us about a year to create an episode. The writers work extremely hard. Animation it's constant rewriting and redoing, and the show first appears like in a black and white animatic version, and that's a crude version of the show. They rewrite based on seeing that. I would say that the show's success is mostly due to the vision of James L. Brooks, Matt Groening, and Sam Simon in the early days. And because James L. Brooks, who I call Jim, by the way, in the same way that I call Bill Macy, Bill.
Mm-hmm. William H. Macy.
William H. Macy, I call him Bill, yeah.
All power moves.
Because Jim had so much power in TV, the network gave so many notes that Jim was able to completely ignore and just create the show he wanted to create, which isn't done too much.
Heck, it takes a year to create an episode. How old are you? I mean, 600 years old?
Yes. In Simpsons years, yes. Yeah. Well, no, they're working on many concurrently. Okay. It just takes about a year in advance before they
What's that mean? Like
concurrently?
Yes. Yeah.
All at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
That is pretty startling, though, is it not? Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Did you have any idea that a Simpsons episode took a year? So the notes from the executives, they tried to screw it up?
Oh, big time. Yes. I mean, network TV, let me put it this way. The great shows that come on network TV, I have even more admiration for them than the general public might, because I know how hard it is to get by all the crazy notes you're getting based on market research or just whatever they need at the time, or what the advertisers want or need, or creative notes from executives that may not be really in line with the vision of the creator of the show. That if you somehow make a really good show, despite all that, it's incredible, and that's why most shows suck on network TV.
But a year for an episode? I mean, who's running this thing? Lorenzo and Charlie?
You're really stuck on this.
Yeah, I really am. A year. It just seems a
well,
long
from
time.
the beginning to the end, from concept to completion of animation, takes a long time.
Is it an easy job?
For me, extremely. I mean, you say it's no different than what I'm doing here right now. Cletus, what, you want to talk like this? Okay.
Young Eric Roberts.
Exactly.
Listen, you're cut off, man. You're like completely freaked out with this. It's really hard not to curse to it. You really want to just say a bunch of foul stuff.
I was researching because the name of Hector escaped me, and I saw you did an interview with Larry King, and you got that role because Robert Downey Jr. bailed out last second.
That's correct. I got my part in America's Sweethearts because Robert Downey Jr. was unavailable during the more turbulent time of his career. Yeah.
So he was just drugged out, right? I mean,
you said it, Dan Le Batard. I did not.
You reaped the benefits.
He had pretty famous drug
Yeah, no, it
problems.
wasn't any secret. Yes, he was having difficulty at the time, and he rebounded okay, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should have been Iron Man.
Yeah, if only
If
Robert later could have had problems, then maybe. I think I still wouldn't have been Iron Man. I don't think any number of actors could have had any amount of difficulty that would have ended up in me being Iron Man.
I love to imagine Hank Azaria as a neurotic Iron Man.
That would have been great.
I know. Guys, please. I know it's a hard exterior, but inside it's not easy wrangling my 91-year-old mother. So everybody just step lightly. My version of Iron Man.
That's a totally different movie.
Yeah.
It really is.
More like a Woody Allen, like, no, please, I need the shell because it's tremendous pressure, with the other guys in the costumes and, the evil and the aliens. It's not easy.
Did you have you ever been surprised, or you must be surprised all the time, I guess, by the reach of The Simpsons? No, just do you have anything for us in storytelling where you're like, I can't believe that either this person wants to break this down with me, or this person or this place is interested in The Simpsons?
That's happened a lot. I mean, like weird things like when I was shooting The Birdcage, there was an actor at the time who was shooting in the soundstage next door who it was his first movie. He was an unknown guy, and he kind of accosted me how much he loves The Simpsons and sort of picking my brain. I'm like, who is this dude? I sort of ran away from him, on the lot. And that actor was none other than Edward Norton, who was shooting his first big thing, Primal Fear, I think it was. If I'd known what a big movie star was going to turn into, I would have, given him much, much more of the time of day. But yeah, it's, and also I got to meet so many rock stars. That's been the weird corner of doing the show. Like, because my job is to hang out with actors, but sports figures and musical performers, it's never lost on me how I'm totally in awe. Like meeting Mick Jagger and Tom Petty and David Byrne, and it's been amazing.
Were you weird around them, or were you able to be composed?
A funny thing about when you're fortunate enough to meet all these people whose names I drop is you never know who you're going to be freaked out by. David Byrne, I lost my mind. If you asked me beforehand, would David Byrne freak me out? I was like, no, I don't think so. But even more than Mick Jagger, I was like, oh my God. You know what actor I freaked out the most upon meeting? Vincent Price. I don't know why.
Wow.
Yeah, Vincent Price.
Maybe it was young Eric Roberts.
It was not.
You don't know
it
why?
Wasn't. Lay off of that, man. You're obsessed with that guy.
Cha-ching! Time for some ads.
Again, if you want to support Hank Azaria for lending us some of his time, he doesn't ask us that we promote this, but you should watch season 3 of Brockmire Wednesday, April 3rd, 10 p.m. on IFC. First 2 seasons are available on Hulu. You can also support our sponsors. Dollar Shave Club is among our best sponsors. They've been with us for a long time. They clean us up around here. Stugotz, tell the people.
Yep, no matter what you do to get ready, Dollar Shave Club has everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. I hope showering and brushing your teeth are part of how you get ready, because their hydrating body cleanser and intense peppermint toothpaste are the way to go. And right now, you can get a Dollar Shave Club starter set for just $5 each. They've got a shower set, toothpaste and toothbrush set, or their famous shave butter and razor. Any one of those sets, just $5. After your starter set, products ship at regular price. Get yours at dollarshaveclub.com/Dan. $5 starter sets only at dollarshaveclub.com/Dan.
Patty.
So Chris Sims joins us now on Bleacher Report. Tell me, what do you think of the analysis of quarterbacks?
Chris works for Bleacher Report. He's on ESPN Radio. Fine, double. I'm listening today. I'm sorry.
Chris Sims of Bleacher Report on ESPN Radio. What do? Did you just send yourself to the penalty box? Is that what just happened? Get out of here. Go sit in the penalty chair.
If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Le Batard Show, plus our Miami-only hour and our Best of Podcast on demand in the ESPN app, and subscribe to the Le Batard and Friends Podcast Network, featuring South Beach Sessions as well as Stupidity, our brand new podcast, hosted by me. New episodes every week. Please rate and subscribe. It's all available in the More tab of the ESPN app.
Hank Azaria with us in studio. He has been giving us really fun stories about Gene Hackman and meeting Mick Jagger and Robert De Niro. But he also, Mike, and I don't know, we've got an uneasy tension here because I want to ask him about all that stuff. But Hank is down on basketball, man. He's down on basketball right now.
I mean, part it could be because I'm a Knicks fan, so what do I have to be happy about for 20 years? But honestly, I want to ask you guys. I feel like almost every sports talk guy here is basically shilling for the NBA. It's being disingenuous if you don't admit that it's really boring. It's a movie that you know the ending of. We all know that the Warriors are going to win. Durant going to the Warriors, as much as the cupcake stuff has been made, you can't state it enough how awful that movie. I don't know how you ban.
Terrible.
It's horrible. It was terrible for the sport. It makes it unwatchable. The East is interesting this year without LeBron. It's a 4-team race that is actually interesting, but you know that it's just who's going to lose to the Warriors as a result. There's a little bit of interest in, can Houston pull themselves together to beat the Warriors, which I'd be very fascinated if that did happen, but you know that some combination of Chris Paul being hurt and Harden not being as good as he in the regular season is going to make them not win that series. Right. It's terrible. That combined with, I already feel like only the last 5 minutes of any NBA game is worth watching anyway, only if the score is close. So is it just the pageantry, the balletic brilliance of the sport that's interesting? What is interesting about this league anymore?
Well, nothing, because Kevin Durant ruined the league. I mean, since you brought it up, and you're right, by the way, he has completely ruined the league because the only team, listen, he did what no other athlete would do, right? This would be the equivalent of Michael Jordan. Rather than coming back and trying to beat the Pistons, he would join the Pistons because he couldn't beat them on his own, right? That's what Durant did. And the only team that could beat the Golden State Warriors is the team that has Kevin Durant. But unfortunately, the Warriors have Kevin Durant. And so no one could beat the Golden State Warriors.
You said it can't be stated enough. Stugotz has accepted your challenge and will continue to state it enough.
Well, are we done? Are we finished? Even that argument, though, that Michael Jordan wouldn't have done it. That's too blaming it on old school. There's no old school argument you need to make. Was the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers that was banned, right?
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a trade, though, or was it? Was that a trade?
I think it was a trade, and then David Stern reversed the trade.
Yes. How do you not? And Kevin Durant went as a free agent, correct?
Yes.
All right.
After being up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors, and he couldn't close it out.
They should have banned it, is my point.
Yeah,
they shouldn't have allowed it.
I agree with you. And banned him.
Hank, hold on. You're saying that basketball is too predictable and boring, and earlier today you said no one else is excited about opening day of a 162-game regular season?
This is apples and oranges, my friend to me. I mean, at least, yes. Opening day is like a rite of passage. It's pastoral, like baseball itself. Spring is here, and it's a tradition, and you remember going with your dad and your family to the game, and there's nothing dramatic about it. It's just time passing. It's lovely. At least you don't know how each game's gonna end. I don't know how each game's gonna end.
Right.
If the Warriors were playing the Mets, they'd beat the Mets.
He's right about that.
That is Hank represents a certain demo. that speaks that way about baseball.
Well, no, but explain it to me. What is that I'm hearing? Oh, white. I'm white. Yes.
Play it again, please.
Yes. Okay. I'm white.
And you are white. It seemed like you were asking. But
I'm white. I know. But wait. I mean, where is he? Where'd he go? Is it back there? Explain to me. You defend yourself. Explain to me how basketball's interesting. What's interesting to you?
Hank, have you seen the movie Independence Day?
Yes.
Okay. When you were watching Independence Day, was there ever a point where you said, hey, the aliens are going to win this thing and humanity's going to get enslaved? You knew at the end of the day, Will Smith would conquer and they would beat the aliens, right? Doesn't make it any less of an enjoyable ride. It's about the journey, not the destination.
No. I've heard other sports talk folks that I won't mention because they're your competition make that argument. Okay?
Oh,
the
Colin?
whole
Colin?
Exactly. The whole point of making movies like that is you do your best to make it convincing that maybe it's not going to work out that way. You know, there's nothing you could do to this basketball season apart from kneecap 3 guys on the Warriors, not even just 2 of them, that would put it in doubt.
Are you kidding me? The Warriors have been doing that all season long. They bicker with each other. You got Draymond Green calling Kevin Durant something. You got Jordan Bell putting things on the coach's
off the court stuff, though,
tab.
man.
That really has you concerned that the Warriors are not going to win the NBA championship?
Jordan Bell.
Jordan Bell,
Charging
$15 candle charged to Mike Brown's room.
It's over.
That's where it all fell apart, gentlemen.
By the way, I get that's an interesting. So, in other words, so you're actually making my point. So, how the Warriors are going to win is more fascinating to you, or more interesting to you, or just as interesting to you as if they might not win. Wow, that's crazy.
It's just like Independence Day. Bet you didn't have Randy Quaid flying up the tailpipe.
Well, by the way, Independence Day was ridiculously awful.
Randy Quaid in a fighter jet saying,
This is where we disagree.
Hank Azaria, 2 minutes in the penalty box. He's going to spend 2 minutes out there.
Bienvenido a Miami on the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
And finally, Elon Musk says he's going to create a site where the public can rate the core truth of any article and track the credibility scored over time of each journalist, editor, and publication.
I think it's very fair. All of my ideas come to fruition. I'm very reliable. Excuse me. Happened again. I'm Elon Musk.
Why did you become the angel of nuance with Mickey Mouse there? That impersonation somehow is getting worse. And
Sports Center. This one's brought to you by Select Quote. I know you guys all look forward to the Select Quote one. Well, this is it. All right, call it out, boys. Who should we hear from?
Frank Grimes.
Oh, Frank Grimes. That's obscure. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. I'm sorry, I'm just so angry about Homer Simpson. Guests on the Land Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pepsin. Guests on the Land Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line.
Kirk Van Houten.
Kirk Van Houten. Your Sports Center update. The Hornets and Bucks are going to play in the NBA's first regular season game in Paris in 2020. So that's pretty cool. I'd sleep in a race car.
This goes to
the Spurs retired Manu Ginobili's jersey following their victory over the Cavaliers.
Fred Flintstone.
See, now I don't just do any.
Chris, come on!
That's just disrespectful.
Chris, what's the matter with you?
I don't do Fred Flintstone. In fact, they asked me to do it on The Simpsons, and I couldn't, and Dan had to do it. Dan Castaneda, who plays Homer Simpson.
Duffman.
Duffman blows out my voice. I told you that already.
Well, you're leaving in a second.
Finally, according to
Bronson.
Charles Bronson. Oh, yeah. According to scientists, Earth is currently undergoing its 6th mass extinction event. Boy, that's appropriate that Charles Bronson read that. Here's the select quote.
Lorphenzind. Here's the select quote term life insurance difference. Most companies give you... most companies give you one option, one policy, and one rate, yo. But select quote shops and could get you up to 10 options from highly rated life insurers. For a free personalized quote, call 800-780-1010 or go to selectquote.com. For all the latest headlines and information, tune into SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Hank, thank you. The audience really enjoyed its time with you. We really enjoyed our time with you. Check out Hank today, 4:30 Eastern, ESPN Highly Questionable. Also, support the things that Hank is doing. Brockmeyer, you just heard him say it's a passion project for him. Season 3 premieres Wednesday, April 3rd at 10 p.m. on IFC. First 2 seasons are available on Hulu.
He just spent 2.5 hours doing our jobs.
Yeah, he really did.
Yes.
Thank you, Hank. And
You'll get a bill. You'll get a bill.
Thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I love doing this. And go Warriors, right? Go Warriors.
Amin and Hank were still arguing during the break about this. Amin, your arguments were much better off air. It's a hard thing to be better off air than you are on air.
Theater of the mind, Dan.
Okay, thank you for all your help. You could go now, Hank. You are now dismissed. You can get up and go. Thank you for being on with
Amin
us.
wants to spend more time with you.
Yes. Amin has cornered you and wants to talk Star Wars with you. Who's our biggest Star Wars dork? Is it Amin?
Oh, I think so,
by
yeah.
far.
Yeah, by far, yeah.
He's the biggest Star Wars fan I know, Amin Al-Hassan.
Like Amin's really excited to sit down with Hank and talk about Star Wars. Like
Yes, I just got in here late because Amin just ran in here, took the seat, and started asking, Obi-Wan Kenobi questions.
It sounded like you knew that name pretty well.
Yeah, it's Obi-Wan.
Well, I have not been smooth today. Perhaps Mike has an example of this. We've got a show business expert with us, and because I can get discombobulated when this environment gets altered, I actually ended a segment. Stugotz, we pride ourselves on ending smoothly, ending with a joke, ending funny. Here is how I ended a segment today. Stay with us, Hank Azaria. I didn't complete the thought. It seemed like I was just asking Hank Azaria to stay with us. Stay with us, Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria, what?
I think that should be your new sign-off.
Yes.
Highly questionable. Stay with us,
Hold
Hank
on.
Azaria.
Let's talk sign-offs. Didn't Dan Rather for a while end his broadcasts with a saying, and for a while, wasn't it just the word courage?
Yeah, courage. And then he would join us on the radio, and he would say, "Tamp him up solid," and I had no idea what that meant.
Stay with us, Hank Azaria. Guillermo, did you recover from the I lost you for the show when Hank Azaria attacked you in the first segment in a way that was a bit shocking to all of us.
I'm good.
Are you?
You got dunked on in the first segment, and you haven't spoken since.
Yeah, no.
That's it? You just checked out for the show. The big movie star pushed you around, and you weren't having it. You should have heard.
I picked too many fights yesterday with the celebrities that were on, so just stay in my corner. Today.
You're gun shy. You weren't so gun shy when I went into the back room, put my arm around you, and tried to console you. And you're like, "Show me what he is without his writer."
Mickey Fawcett's right over here. I mean, geez, Louise.
Also, how awkward was it when he put his arms around you in the bathroom? That's like top 5 spot where you shouldn't do that to me.
We've actually had, now that we're bringing this up, I know that's a joke, but we've actually had like conversations where we go downstairs and we're like at the urinal. He's like, "So, how's the day going?" It's like, I just kind of want to finish my business right now. And then we have meetings. Like, it's like, I'm done, but I guess conversation's not done. So I'm just going to stick here for a little.
Stick here, watch you pee for a little bit, and talk to you while you pee.
See the problem with any of this.
Stugotz is uncomfortably comfortable in the bathroom. Just all bathroom-related things. Stugotz has no problem. I've told you before.
He tosses his arm around me. "Hey, what's going on down there?"
At Batard Show, put it on the poll, please. Are you comfortable talking to people while you're pooping?
He once ate a sandwich in the bathroom.
I did, yep. And I'll do it again.
Put that on the poll as well. At Batard Show, will you eat a sandwich in the bathroom?
2 birds.
Thank you, Stugotz. I appreciate it. Nicolas Cage here. his fourth marriage lasted 4 days. Can someone please explain to me what happened there? Is it just Nicolas Cage?
I'm surprised it lasted that long.
Doesn't he have 2 marriages now that lasted like a couple of weeks?
Yeah, Lisa Marie Presley was that was under I think it was like around 2.5 months that one lasted.
What's happening though? Nick Cage is happening.
I want to deconstruct this for a second. You decide, in the whirlwind romance that is your life, we're getting married. And then 4 days later, you change your mind. That damn near seems impossible.
What, that Nicolas Cage comes off as impulsive is impulsive?
That you would quit someone. You would do whatever it is it takes to get married, from paperwork to oaths. And then 4 days later, you're like, never mind.
I was watching a movie marathon on the History Channel, and one of the movies they were showing was the USS Indianapolis. Now, this is one of the rare Nicolas Cage movies that I hadn't yet seen. And it's all about the USS Indianapolis, you don't say, that actually sinks, gets attacked by the Japanese, and it sinks into shark-infested waters. And you think, like most shark movies, they would wait a second to build it up. But as soon as Nicolas Cage hits the water, there's a great white shark, which I looked up, is not indigenous to the Filipino seas. But it doesn't stop them from doing this. And there's one of the great scenes in movie history where Tom Sizemore is holding his own foot. It's been severed. And for whatever reason, he does not want to let go of his own foot. And Nicolas Cage is treating him on a raft. And it's just pure chef's kiss.
That movie, were you smiling throughout the watching of it? That's his last movie, isn't it?
No. It's a fairly recent one in the whole Nicolas Cage spectrum, because this was one of the rare theatrical releases, limited though it may be. Mandy, he had that was a critically acclaimed movie that was released in some art houses. Have you ever watched Mandy?
It's too crazy for me. You know what? I put it in I put it on this wish list thing where I have 300. Do all of you have 300 things in the wish list?
In the queue?
If you put it in the queue and you decide, I'm going to watch this eventually, but I'm not in the mood right now. I've done that with Mandy about 100 times.
Here's a trick with Mandy. Spoiler alert. Just fast forward to the part in the bathroom where he has his mental breakdown. Just, you can skip the first part.
That's it?
Yeah, you'll know that, okay, there's Satanists out there, and here's what you need to know. They killed this girl, and they're Satanists. Fast forward to the bathroom scene, and then he gets revenge.
How far into the movie?
You'll know the bathroom scene. It's a scene where Nicolas Cage's face is in agony, screaming. Well, actually, that's a whole movie. I'm sorry.
And they're in a bathroom.
That's a big dead giveaway.
It's his whole career.
305 Till I Die on the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Interviews, go check out the entire interview on demand in the Dan Le Batard podcast, brought to you by the Capital One Saver Card. Earn 4% cash back on dining and entertainment, 2% at grocery stores, and 1% on all other purchases. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Been a good week of shows. The Le Batard Show is where you go to vote on all of the polls. We've only got a few today, and we're about to open up the club. Our thanks again to Hank Azaria for spending the show with us today. You can check him out on Highly Questionable later today, 4:30 Eastern, at Le Batard Show on Instagram and Twitter. What do we have over there, Stugotz?
What 2 words make you mistier? Opening day or Game 6? What happened to Let's Get Ready to Rumble? Should be in there. 51% of the audience said opening day. 51. Is calling William H. Macy, Bill Macy, a power move? Bet your ass it is, man. 84% of the audience said yes. Is the Magic Crate of Content music magical or anxiety-inducing?
Why would someone bet their ass?
That's an excellent question. Why? That's an excellent question. Why? I guess it's because you value it, right?
Maybe it's a donkey origin.
It's a good question. Let's find out before the end of the segment. At Levitt, in the meantime,
Thank God it was a good question because I stepped on Stugotz and I just
kid,
I'm
you're in your
having
own
a
head.
hell of a week.
You're in your own head, kid. It's all right.
It's all right. It happens. Shake it off.
We might have to send you down to the minors for.
Yeah. Listen, you got a whole weekend to think about it, so I'm here for you if you want to talk. I've been there, man.
the back row today has really been broken because Guillermo had his spleen stolen from him during the first Hank Azaria segment, and he might not recover until the middle of next week.
We'll see.
Do you like sports radio more than you like sports? Hank Azaria said that. 58% of the audience said no. I'm surprised 42% of the audience said yes.
They should have watched a Texas Tech Michigan game last night.
It was unbelievable.
Hard to watch.
Bad. Whoa. Are you comfortable talking to people while pooping? 73% of the audience said said no, excuse me. Will you eat a sandwich in the bathroom?
Why are you laughing? He's made riches beyond your wildest dreams.
Every mistake I make, I cash in. What do you mean?
Talk, Stugotz.
Will you eat a sandwich in the bathroom? Cha-ching. 80% of the audience said no. Those are the polls.
So let's go ahead and open up the club. We send you into the weekend. We've been doing it for years around here. We send you into the weekend with an assortment of sounds, and it's just sort of remembering the week that was usually. And then when I do it like this for 5 minutes, Mike has to find other stuff in the library as well. Let's do it.
Stay with us, Hank Azaria. We do it every week.
Every single week. What do you have for us, the first sound?
Who's the first person in the club is how we typically do this. Go ahead.
All right, who's the first person in the club?
I mean, they used to call me Chris Karaoke.
What did you want to go with there? Was it Karaoke or was it Cody?
Karaoke. I mean, they used to call me Chris Karaoke. You could see, you could hear it. You could hear the fear, that little gap.
That little gap. Chris and I locked eyes during that little speed bump, and I saw terror in his eyes.
I want to hear it again.
I mean, they used to call me Chris Karaoke.
Oh, right there, yeah.
Karaoke is better there, is it not? Karaoke?
Karaoke is pretty good.
Anything's better than karaoke.
Karaoke.
I mean, they used to call me Chris Karaoke.
Who else in the club?
Swoosh.
Whose swish was that?
Swoosh.
Beautiful.
Was it yours, Billy?
I guess. They all sound the same to me.
That was back when you had confidence?
Yeah. Well, I've never had confidence.
No, it was just during that one moment in time. That one sound is the only time you've had confidence.
Swoosh.
I don't think I could do that again if you asked me to.
I'm going to ask you to.
No, that's not it.
It's a baby one.
Swish.
Hank destroyed you in that first segment.
Smash.
Swoosh.
What's the next sound in the club? Who was that? Was that Stugotz's swish?
Yep. Pretty good.
Was that Daniel Baldwin? Who else in the club?
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Listener Mike.
It's the only good one we got, right?
I screened that, right?
Who else in the club?
Dan, I don't want to upset him, but the last question took him 5 minutes to answer. So if I ask him which celebrity he wanted to let die, we'd be going on forever.
Wow, really? That was why? Wait a minute. That was while Bear Grylls was listening. Billy asked a 5-minute question. He got called on it. It was the second question of the interview. It was a terrible question, and this is how he defended himself.
Dan, I don't want to upset him, but the last question took him 5 minutes to answer. So if I ask him which celebrity he wanted to let die, we'd be going on forever.
Wow, really?
My question was, did you take the elevator because the stairs were broken? Which, granted, is not a good question.
Swoosh.
Swish.
Swoosh.
So go on. Name another one.
But Rick, the question
Name another one.
question was, do you
Name another one.
The question was, Rick Barry.
That is, I cannot tell you how happy Stugotz peacock pluming, chest expanding. He got taller as he alphaed Rick Barry at the end of this. The question was, Rick Barry.
So go on. Name another one.
But Rick, the question
Name another
the
one.
question was, do you
Name another one.
The question was, Rick Barry. It's really just me filling time until someone told me Akeem Olajuwon.
Girl, I don't understand it. Why you wanna hurt me?
That is alleged karaoke champion Amin El Hassan getting dusted by Chris Cody in a Cody Okie.
Girl, I don't understand it. Why you wanna hurt me?
Who else in the club?
They took my freaking thumb.
Of course, the young Eric Roberts. How many people get that joke,
They
Mike?
took my freaking thumb.
We made that joke 40 times today. I'm not sure the audience.
And now, your sports center update. The Dolphins have traded Robert Quinn to the Cowboys.
Blows out his voice every time. Who else in the club?
And now, your sports center update.
That was Royce.
What a weird week.
Quality.
Any final thoughts here, Chris? You want to close us out?
Hope you enjoyed the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
World Star. Stay with us, Hank Azaria.
From coast to coast, the Stephen A. Smith Show starts right now.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio and ESPN News, 250 plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM, FM listing nearest you, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio. Simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729.